Hey, this is Al Bain from Al Bain for Leather, and I'm standing here with my Cobra Class 4 from the Leather Machine Company. Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you for a moment about fine points of bobbin winding with the built-in bobbin winder or the tabletop bobbin winder on a typical large bobbin machine. Okay, so what we have here is a little spool, okay, and there's a little hole. See that little hole? Not to be confused with the slot, the little hole. And then on the shaft itself, there's a little pin. Can you see that little pin? Okay, so that little shaft helps the bobbin spin on the shaft while it's loading. Okay, so a lot of people teach these funny little methods for starting the thread, which require two hands to actually start winding the bobbin. I don't like to do that. I do this thing called the double barber pole wind. Okay, so the first thing that's cool about it is that there's no wasted thread. So what you do is you set the feed thread about 1/8 of an inch past the edge of the spool, and I typically pin it between my thumbnail and the rim so the thread is under control by my thumb on the edge of the rim. Now I'm going to start winding by winding a spiraling barber pole pattern all the way to the other edge, up against it, and then back. Okay, so I'm going to wind all the way to the starting point and along the first edge. So I've got this, and look, the little tail, there's nothing sticking out. I don't have to reach over and grab my cutter or anything like that. So the trick here now is to keep tension from the supply and the bobbin, and note where the little hole is, lining it up on the shaft pin. Push it in there and get it lined up on the shaft pin, and then engage the winder. Okay, so now the winder isn't going to move until the hand wheel moves, but I need to maintain this slack so it doesn't bird's nest the bobbin. So I have to remove the thread all the way back to the cone. So I'm going to grip it before the tension device, pull the slack out, and then guide it all the way to the cone. I usually reach over like this and simply rotate the cone one turn, and now this bobbin is ready to wind. Okay, what happens typically is people get taught to start the wind by feeding the tip through the little hole. Okay, it becomes a hassle. Now I'm trimming thread and wasting thread. Okay, have to reach for the clipper and feed it through the little hole. And the thread's too big to go through the hole, so it just becomes this monkey motion. Now it's through the hole. Okay, and then I reach on the other side and line up that one. Okay, and have to unthread my needle, lock it, wake up the machine, and start spinning. So now what do I do with all this thread? Reach over and cut it off and throw it away. This thread costs a little bit of money, probably less than a penny, but still it's labor, it's motion. I have to reach and cut it and then throw it away and then buy more thread when I run out of cone. So out of the 200 bobbins you're going to get out of that spool of thread, you probably save about 5 bobbins of capacity by just not wasting this thread. Anyway, so let's review. We start by looking at the little hole, lining it up on the shaft pin, double barber pole up and back. The key is that you go all the way up and around at the walls of the bobbin, come back, slide it on, loading the bobbin from the bottom, and remove all the extra slack. That's your buddy Al Bain for Leather. We only ask one little thing. Say it with me. Please pay it forward.